Welcome to Building Great People, the podcast where we explore how leaders in business and community are shaping the future by investing in the people who make it all happen. Let's get started. Welcome back to Building Great People. We are so excited today to be sitting with some of our student ambassadors. Really, they're not just what I would call an intern, but you do a lot more for us and kind of plugged in. But I have Gage, who's right here, and JT, and then CiCi. They are all students at Austin Peay State University who we partner a lot with different things and always looking for ways to engage our students there. I'm also a graduate of Austin Peay, so go Govs. But yeah, we'll kick it off. Maybe CiCi, kind of give us a quick introduction. Who is CiCi?
My name is CiCi. I'm a senior marketing student with minors in graphic design and finance. I'm involved in numerous amount of things around campus. I won't name all of them, but there's a few in there. And yeah, I'm really involved mainly in the College of Business, and I'm really passionate about having great connections with people and growing as a person.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about the Govs Fund. I know you mentioned that before, and I know a little bit about it, but for our listeners, explain what that is.
So the Govs Fund is a student-managed investment portfolio that we have in the College of Business. It has $500,000 right now. I started off in 2018, and our donor, Larry Caro, donated $2,500 to us. And then since then, we've been growing the portfolio. He donated another $2,500 in 2021. So then we hit the $500. And right now, we're about to hit all-time record high numbers of $600,000, which is amazing. We just went to Chicago last week and had a great conference in Chicago with the SMIFC, which is a student-managed investment portfolio agent.
So is this real money? It's not monopoly money?
Yes, wow. It's real money. Yeah, we manage it. There's 5 exec people, and then there is, I think we have 17 or 18 people right now in general board. But we all work together to manage a portfolio, and it's really cool because it's like real money, hands-on experience, and real strategy. So
yeah, that's amazing. That's really cool. Gage, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yes, sir. My name's Gage Link, senior at Austin Peay. My major is management with a concentration in human resource management. I'm, a student ambassador for the press, but I also work at Montgomery County in their human resources department. I'm from Dover, Tennessee, and I'm a big believer in just networking and making connections in the community. Try to market myself in that way. And, the podcast, Building Great People, I would say what defines a great person. And I feel like for me, it's my faith and chasing after, what a good person looks like according to the word. And so, yeah, that would be, I'd say me.
Yeah, that's awesome. I didn't know you were from Dover, but the accent makes sense now. So, yeah. So what did that transition look like coming from that small town? There's one high school there, I think. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And your class probably wasn't super big, I would imagine, to, a pretty nice sized university. How did you walk through that journey?
Yes, sir. It was definitely a big transition. Like you said, one high school, there's 2 traffic lights, only a few grocery stores. So it's a lot different than Clarksville. And I just ended up coming to Austin Peay. Really, I didn't have no goal initially. I first wanted to be a teacher. So that was just to kind of navigating that and moving on. Ended up, doing management and business instead. But I think it was a big learning curve to just really be up here and put myself in a different environment. Not a lot of people necessarily go to college from Dover. So, just like I said, big learning curve, and wanting to network and really put myself out there and trying to represent Dover in a way just as many other people are. So, yeah. Yes, sir.
That's good. That's good. All right, JT.
Well, my name is JT. Well, my actual name is J.R. Tyreek Richardson, but a lot of people call me JT. I'm from Delaware, but I live currently in Atlanta. I'm a transfer student here at Austin Peay. I'm a junior marketing major with an entrepreneurship minor. I am heavily involved on campus just because I just really find value in my experience here as a college student and making the most of that. And that's really it when it comes to me. I mean, I'm just all around.
Yeah. Well, you have a really cool story, and I know you shared that before. I don't know if you would mind sharing maybe a piece of that. And, you don't have to share the whole thing, of course, but I'd love for you to maybe dive in a little on that.
Yes. I'm not a full-through junior. Actually, I took 2 years off of college. I graduated in 2020 during COVID, and it was a very hard time to try to get adjusted working full-time and trying to go to school full-time online. And I ended up, failing out of college. And I was at a lower point in life and I decided to work in corporate America. I did for a little bit, for about a year and a half. And, at some point I rededicated my life to Christ, and, I sat and reflected, and I realized that there's something more for my life, and this isn't just the end all be all. Chasing the rat race really wasn't for me. And so I decided to re-enroll. But the problem was, when you fell out of college, not a lot of colleges or any would be willing to accept you. And I didn't get accepted. I applied to over 30 to 40 plus schools and didn't get accepted. And Austin Peay denied me, but I sent an appeal and they took a chance on me, and they gave me the opportunity to come in on probation, on academic probation, and I was able to earn my spot, if you will. And I'm truly grateful for that, and that's why I pour so much into this school, and I plan on retiring here and working here and building back into this community.
Yeah, love that, man. That's such a good story of overcoming challenges, not giving up, and perseverance, right? And I think for all of you, your stories are all individual to you, and it all brings forth like, what does the future look like, right? And so young, vibrant community that we live in today, with 1,000 opportunities. We have 2 seniors, 1 junior. As you look at the landscape, kind of kick things off, what does that look like? Let's start with what is your driving why behind what you want to do in the future, even if you don't know exactly what that career looks like? And let's hit Gage first with that question.
Oh yeah, what's our why? Because that's our book club right now that we've got going on at the press, and then with 𝗂𝗄𝗏. And I'd say my why for me, I love the cap line of our the 𝗂𝗏𝗏 Foundation. To whom much is given, of him much will be required. For me, I think a lot of people see that only on a monetary standpoint. I feel like there's also other side of that. With any blessing that the Lord gives you, I feel like you're required of something. So for me, in Clarksville, I do want to stay here. I love the community, and any sort of opportunity or job I'm given, I'm going to show up every day and just meet that requirement, meet the expectation, and to just give back and to build into whatever bus that I end up being on. And so that's my why, is my faith, my belief in Jesus Christ. And like I said, I'm guided by everything, in all aspects by him. So
yeah, love that. CiCi.
My why is definitely my family. I didn't grow up in the country, although I was born here. I grew up in Mexico for about 10 years. So my family and me have always been really close, in that sense of you grew up somewhere else and you come over here and you have to figure it out on your own. So I'm kind of more of family oriented. I have a little brother who is my light and soul, and I love him to death. And I think he's really my driving power, because there was lots of opportunities that weren't given to me. I kind of had to look for them, but I want to be that guidance for him whenever he grows up. He's 12 right now, but whenever he gets to that age of going to college or whatever it is that he wants to do, I just want to be there supporting him and guiding him.
Yeah, love that. JT.
For me, it's family as well, but also I realized that my true purpose on earth is to serve others through the gift that has been given to me, and which is my voice and my ability to be able to be influential and impactful. And what am I doing with that influence, right? Am I guiding people the right direction? I think we all battle with that every day, especially being in college. A lot of different influences pulling on you, but just trying to stay grounded in that and realizing that, the direction is set for me already, and just continue to lead with that and be faithful in whatever that is. And being an example to my little brother as well. I mean, I have younger siblings. My mom is a single mother, still living with my grandparents, taking care of them and making sure they're okay. And, so wanting to make sure that I can help us going forward and help us get a better life.
Yeah, I love that. I think looking back at my time coming through college and what those first career steps looked like, I think there was a big focus on the career ladder. That's what I was taught, right? You climb the ladder, you make money, you get stuff, right? And unfortunately, that system is only as good as it works, and you don't get to control the ladder sometimes, right? The system is not designed for Rylan or for any one of us, but when you reshift that focus to a mindset that's not just, I want to accomplish those things, meaning position, title, money, and it's to accomplish what my purpose is, right? Our why. Good things start happening. Doesn't mean you're going to be rich and famous. Doesn't mean you're going to be a CEO necessarily, or, some other amazing thing like a book's going to be written about you. But what it does mean is when you're chasing that why, you get to find happiness and joy and gratitude in what you do. So kudos to y'all. That makes me so excited to know that like people are getting it at a younger age than what I was raised with. And, I learned servant leadership from a very early age. I had a excellent upbringing from a father that really believed and embodied that spirit. But at the same time, the world told me I got to go do this X, Y, and Z, right? And I got to have the nice car and I got to have the nice house. But some moments for me switched that thinking to realize, hey, what is my why? What is my purpose? What am I going to achieve? And what do I want my legacy to be, right? And that changes again as y'all get older and older and you get married and then you eventually have kids potentially. And then the things even change more. So right now, like you're just starting that journey, and how exciting it is to already have a frame of mind that's like, oh, there's more to it than just that next position. And what that also does is just, man, the whole landscape of the world is now open to you because you're not boxed into this little thing that says, oh, I got to go this way. It means all the doors become open potentially for you. So now you may not like everything. I don't want to sit here and pretend I've done some things I don't like. But it does give your ability to go home and sleep well at night a better chance than not. So, all right, we're going to break it up just a little bit. This is kind of an interesting question. So if you had a podcast, which I have one, and so I may have to go back to my editors and figure out how I can do this, but I'd love to know if you had a podcast, which JT has one, and that is The Mind of a Visionary. Is that right? I want to make sure we get that plug in there. Yes. So go check that out if you've not listened to it. What would be your intro song?
It's a hard one.
It is tough. Do you have an intro song, JT?
I mean, it's
you have like a lullaby or like I don't know what it is.
A lullaby. We're going to sleep on it.
It's like a house song.
Yeah.
But, I think right now how I'm feeling my theme song, because right now I actually have a theme song. I'm running for homecoming court right now.
Nice.
And my theme song is JT Coming. So I'm doing it. I have a whole TikTok challenge. I'm dancing to it. I have other people dancing. So you can hear me around campus singing JT Coming. So that's my intro.
Yeah, that's awesome. I like that.
What about you, Gage?
I'm going to say I wouldn't necessarily have a specific song. My music taste is all the time changing. I keep talking about my faith, but I've been listening to a lot of Christian music recently. And so it would depend on what the theme of my podcast would be, what I'd be talking about. I'd say I'd try to use one of the songs, on that Christian side that I've been listening to. Yeah,
I could see you blasting some Forrest Frank or something like that.
Yeah, that's good. I've been to his concert, actually. I got to dab him up. So,
that's awesome. That's good stuff.
Mine, I think it would also be something with house, something upbeat. But like Gage said, I think it'd have to be according to whatever the episode is going to be like. But something with definitely like beats in it, just so I like visuals. So maybe sync it up to like a visual that's in the podcast. I don't know.
Yeah. Nice. Well, I don't know completely, but we're going to have a conversation afterwards, see if I can find one. Immediately, I think of like T.I., you can have whatever you want, but so I don't know. I may get nixed on that. May not be able to afford the rights to it either. So, but I think, having fun with life is really important. Thinking of Forrest Frank for a second and what an accomplished musician in his field and really across the spectrum. But part of that message, outside of the faith, is just it's a happiness that comes with it, right? It's a joy. And so I mentioned that earlier. So I want to throw that to y'all is like, what do you find that helps recharge you? You do a lot, and college is a lot. I wish I could tell you it gets easier. But to me, it actually gets more fun. And so I think when work is not work and it's a lifestyle and you enjoy what you do, it's not that way. But I still have hard days. I still have things that I have to go home and I've given my all and I need to recharge. And so in your spot now in life, you got tests, you got class assignments that are big projects. You got people that you deal with, and people are hard. I mean, that's the whole reason we did this podcast, because life will show you real quick that people are all different and there is no book for it. You got family, we got, significant others. We have all these things that come into the mix, and we forget about ourselves a lot of times, if not the majority of the time. So what do you do to recharge? JT, we're going to hit you first.
That's an amazing question. It's actually one that I ponder every day, because I'm having trouble with that as we speak. But there's some things I'm actively trying, like just taking time to just sitting quiet at home in my room if I have a chance to be in my room. But going on walks. I used to go on walks a lot. Going to the gym is very therapeutic as well. And then the music has been a very intricate part of my life, just making sure I'm listening to songs that are uplifting.
That's good. It's interesting how, growing up, we listened to a wide variety of music, and a lot of times I didn't necessarily listen to most positive music. But when you get a little bit more mature and you understand what the music does to your spirit, it's pretty profound. It really is, like, not just the lyrics, but just how the music is played. It can really change kind of who you are in those moments. So that's a good statement. Gage, what about you?
Yeah. I love what you just said, because a lot of lyrics at times can get tattooed on your heart and affect you subconsciously. You not even realize it. But for me, I was sitting here, prayer, meditation, and in the 𝗂𝗄𝗶𝗵𝗶𝗽 movies, he has a happy place that he thinks about. So for me, I'd say my happy place is when I want to reset. I go back home. My mom and dad are my rock. And I've got a dog. It's a black Labrador. His name's Jagger. And so being with them and spending time with my dog and just kind of go back home in Dover, it's a lot different. And it's just it's a reset. It's my happy place, my grandparents' house. I spend a lot of time with my pastor and my little cousin throughout the week too. So family is huge, and trying to be in the Word not only on Sunday. That's my reset, my comeback. Just to log back in. So,
yeah, that's awesome. CiCi, what about you?
I think spending time with my family a lot, especially in nature. I really like to be outside a lot, like in the park, and just enjoying like the sounds of nature. So a lot of the time, whenever I do want to reset, I'll just sit outside and probably journal. I love journaling. I have like books of journals, just me writing. So I'll do that. I'll listen to music, or sometimes I just like to go to Nashville and go to the Parthenon. It's a beautiful, beautiful place down there. And I just like to sit there and watch people. I like people watching. So I'll just watch other people live, and I reflect on what they're doing, and my life is like equally important, if not less. And think about that. I think that's really cool, because it's like you're so stressed and you're so caught up with your own life. But if you just take a moment to sit down and watch other people, you're like, they're equally as stressed, if not more. So does it really matter?
Yeah. And I think that's such a great point there. As you move forward, regardless, again, faith is a big thing for a lot of us, but as you move forward in leadership, what you find, going back to people and how people are, is a lot of times we come up with these preconceived notions of how people should act or behave or do things, right? And so when they act outside of the norm, we get frustrated or upset or judge. And what's been really important for me in my journey in leadership, and I by no means have it perfect at all, is this idea of empathy and grace, which really day to day allows me to separate when someone makes a mistake, when someone harms me, when someone does something wrong against me or my family, or something I'm doing at work. And to really try to understand the individual that's coming to the table, right? And what their background is, what baggage they potentially have, and then what they have going on at home right now. That frustrated individual that's in line at Starbucks that's real upset, probably has a story, right? I guarantee they have a story. We all have stories, but they probably have something going on, and the likelihood it's just a quote unquote bad person is probably pretty slim. That's something that I think you will wrestle with as you have people who report to you as time goes on. I think all three of you are destined for some kind of leadership role, whether it's formal or informal, and people are the challenge. And I've said that already a couple times in this podcast, but for those who lead people, you find that it's really messy, and it's kind of it is the acceptance that I'm taking and bearing the weight of others if you're going to be effective. But if you choose this cold, cut off path, right, then it makes you separate from others in a way that you're no longer authentic and relatable, that you no longer can serve others. And really that's what leadership comes down to, at least my definition of leadership. And you're not going to be effective. It's just a reality of it. Now, where that gets really tricky is, especially if you're in a formal leadership position, is you still have to hold people accountable. You still have to have rules and policies, and you have to protect the team. That's something we talk about a lot internally at 𝗂𝗄𝗄. But can you still treat people like humans, right? And that they're individuals and they have stuff going on. And the last thing that I want is to be judged by something I made a mistake on. And so why would I want to judge others, and create that thing that divides us, I guess, if you will. But that to me is the hardest thing of leadership is people. But it's such a beautiful thing to wrestle with and to try to figure out how to work through it. And so that's why bringing back to the recharge is so important, because people are naturally draining. I don't care how social you are. Social is not intimate relationships with people. And that's what leadership requires, is to know your people in a way that's beyond, hey, how was the sports game on Saturday? Right? Or how are your kids at home? It's like, I want to know you on a level that I can now relate with you and have conversation with you. And whether or not we're best friends, doesn't matter. I'm not asking that. I'm not saying that. But to know you and understand you requires me to spend that time in there. And when you have to deal with that, it is draining. I mean, it is a fact. It will drain you. So finding ways to channel that is really important. I always relate stories back when we're talking about it in our office to, like, remember when we do the group projects and then you're the only person in the group doing the project? How frustrating that is to be that person. And y'all kind of are nodding your heads because it's probably you on those. I talked to Gage, you were in there, right? At the help thing.
No, sir.
No, you weren't. Okay. I thought you were in there, but this concept of, like, one person does all the work is just part of the story. You got to understand where everyone else is at in that group. And then if you're leading a team, it's so important for you not to be that person doing all that work. It's how do you bring everyone into it and wants to be a part of it. So, really good. I'd encourage y'all, like, life does not get quote unquote easier, but the more you fall in love with life and the more you find joy in life and the things you do, even though it gets busier, it gets, in my opinion, almost a little easier, because the stress of people, the stress of the projects, the stress of work, the stress of family, you come with a heart of gratitude and joy. And so it makes that life easier. So one thing that you would tell a freshman coming in, now that you've done your 2, 3, 4 years in college, what's one simple piece of advice that you would tell them? Maybe you'd tell yourself if you were to start over. Let's maybe ask that question instead. What's one thing you would tell yourself day one walking into campus that you would want the younger version of you to know?
I'll start. I think I would probably tell myself to make mistakes. Seems like counterintuitive a little bit, but I really do think that every time you make a mistake and you do something and you mess it up, you learn from it, depending on how you take it. So I think whenever for me, example, I actually failed one of my classes my freshman year, but because it was an 8 a.m. And I was living off of campus, so I was a little stressed trying to go back and forth from campus to work and back home, and it was a little stressful. But that definitely taught me to, like, reevaluate my schedule, see what I'm going to do, what things are important, what's not important. And I think whenever you make a mistake, you really evaluate yourself. You look at yourself in the mirror and then you try to be better the next day. So
yeah,
I really like that.
Yeah, Failing Forward's a really good book if you haven't read that. And it's all about that. So
love that.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you're willing to take some risk then.
Yes, yeah. I think it's great to take a risk. That's another thing, that take a risk, make a mistake, do it over again, fall, get back up, and just keep doing it. I think I heard this, like, quote on Instagram actually, or on a podcast maybe, that was like, it's not about the big steps that you take, but 1,000 little ones. And I think that definitely resonates with me. It's about the small little things that you're doing along the way, not about the big promotion or the big thing that you're going to post on LinkedIn and stuff like that. So
yeah, that's great stuff. Gage, what about you?
So you always hear your typical answers, network early, get involved early. For me, I would say, think less, because I would set, early on as a freshman, sophomore, and just overthinking and overstressing about the wrong things. And so now where I'm at in my senior year, that is something I wish I could go back and change. And what we were talking about, the question prior, being able to reset and spend time on yourself, because you can just get so lost on the wheel at times that you almost overdo it. And so, I'm glad that I did, pursue and push hard, but sometimes just, like I said, worrying about the wrong things and not truly trusting God in his process. So,
yeah, that's good. That's good. JT?
I have the honor to work with freshmen every summer as an orientation leader, but the 3 things I always tell them is be comfortable with being uncomfortable, right? The second thing is, if you mess up, it's okay. You have plenty of time to figure it out, and lean into the resources that you have here to do that. This is what you pay for. This is what you are here for. And the third thing is be present in the current situation. Don't think too far ahead, because you'll trip what's in front of you. Don't look behind you, because you'll run into something. Take things day by day, step by step, and be present, right? If you're at 75%, show up at 75% and give that 75%. If you're at 50, give that whole 50. And if you're at 100 and you can give 100, give 100, but be present in your current moment and situation. Take advantage of the opportunity.
Yeah, we spend a lot of time looking forward instead of looking around us right now, right? And we miss a lot when we're doing that. That goes back to like chasing that dream, right? Like you can chase it, but don't lose what's right in front of you and the opportunities that happen right in front of you. If I'd been so laser focused on that position, I may have never been sitting in this seat right now. And so taking chances, it's doing those things that make you uncomfortable, and the opportunities are so abundant, but when you're not looking up and looking at what is right here, right now, you also miss, man, some of the beautiful moments that are happening right there. So quick story. When I was in high school, I wasn't the popular kid or really involved. I played soccer, and that's pretty much the lane I stayed in. That was it. Didn't do well academically, but I was very involved in my church, and that was probably my saving grace. Coming into college, for whatever reason, I had this pivot moment, and this is probably what, like, I would probably tell myself this, like, keep doing what I was doing, because I don't know, I just got it right by luck, by chance, by God, whatever the moment was. But I got involved on day one, and I plugged in, and I did everything possible that was an opportunity for me. If someone said you could be SGA, I was on SGA. If I could go as programming counselor, I don't know if they all still have that, but I was involved in that.
I was in that.
Yeah, GPC. Yeah, yep. And it's a cool little group. And then, helped start a fraternity, and all these really just cool, unique opportunities that I would have taken for granted had I still had the mindset that I had when I was in high school. And the spontaneous trips to Paoli Peaks because it snowed that morning, and we're like, yeah, they canceled school. Let's go. It's 4 a.m., right? And we're going to go do that. Those opportunities would only come if you're present in the moment. And I think about now with life being busy, I keep saying that, I have 3 kids and, a family, and my other, immediate family is also here in town, and I have friends, and I have work, and I have all these things that are pulling and fighting for attention in my life and priority in my life. And of course, it's God and family and work, in that order, but it's still a constant wrestling battle. And I have to remind myself, man, just be present in the moment. Be present with your kids when they're sitting in front of you, and not distracted by work. Or when I'm at work, being present with the person that came to sit down and talk to me about whatever they have going on, instead of looking at my email while they're talking to me and trying to multitask. But that presence, man, it's such a powerful thing. It's awesome. Highly recommend for those listening, figure out how to be present. Turn it off. Cell phones, man. It's an evil invention. It's very powerful, but man, it's a distraction from a lot of things that we have going on today. So I heard something recently too. It said humans today have never lived as good as we have it in any time in history. We have AC, we have electricity, we have medical, we have sustainable food, we have all these things. but humans have also never had as much stress as we have today. We have all these things, again, pulling for attention. So it's definitely things you have to work through. Gage, I had a note here that you hit a hole in one. Is that right? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. What was that moment like?
It was ecstatic, and it's crazy because at that time when I hit it, I'd only been playing golf for about 2 years and not really super consistent.
Yeah.
So the guys that were there with me that day, I had 3 witnesses. They had all been playing much longer, and so none of them had a hole in one. And then it's something a lot of golfers don't achieve. But it was at River Club on hole 3, 152-yard shot, par 3. And it just, hit right in front of the hole and rolled in. And I took off just running at the hole because I couldn't believe it almost. I was like, did that really just fall, or is it kind of sitting behind the pin? But it sure was in there. And so,
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So do you get anything with that? Do they give you like the ball and like a plaque or anything?
Some golf courses do.
Yeah.
I called the clubhouse when it happened at River Club, and they don't, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So if anybody at River Club's watching this, maybe y'all should start that.
Get my man a plaque.
Yeah, absolutely. But I got my own frame and everything, kept the scorecard.
That's cool.
Big moment.
Yeah, that's really cool, man. So you still playing? Is that?
Yes, sir. Yeah. I played this past Saturday.
Yeah.
I love it, just being out there, being in nature.
Yeah.
I'm a competitive guy, so it meets the need for sure.
Cool.
Yes, sir.
Well, we'll convert you over to pickleball sometime. I'll see you out there.
I love pickleball.
Yes, sir. I love pickleball as well.
All right. Well, anytime y'all want some, come on. So that's awesome. JT, with the podcast or without the podcast, what's one person that you would love the opportunity, living or dead, to interview?
Dang, this is a hard one. I don't know. It's a hard one. LeBron James, or some like billionaire or something. I just want to know, like, just want to learn how they got there. But like LeBron or like a mogul, a billionaire, or Steve Jobs, if he was, that'd be a good one.
It's a good book if you haven't read his autobiography. It's pretty long. It's like 2,000 pages, but definitely worth a read. So he was a very interesting leader, to say the least. But yeah, LeBron James would be a pretty cool interview. Yeah. What's one question you think you'd ask him?
Can I get courtside tickets? But no, seriously, I'd probably ask him because he, his family life and everything. I would want to know, like, how does he stay so determined? What is his why, and how does he continue to keep going with everything pulling in each direction? Because right now it feels so overwhelming with everything going on. So how does he continue to keep composure?
Yeah, that's awesome. What do you think, CiCi? I'm gonna ask you the same question.
I think similarly, just because we're on the topic of basketball, Kobe Bryant probably. He had a beautiful daughter and a beautiful family. So I think him specifically, because I've seen lots of videos of him talking about just being laser focused and being in teams where maybe he wasn't, where he was like the number one player and he felt like everybody else was lacking. And I feel like when you learn from somebody that's just so dedicated like that, it's really interesting. And especially somebody that's so family oriented as well. I think. Probably.
Yeah. That's good. Gage, what do you think?
Sir, I would say either Billy Graham, or there's a pastor right down in Atlanta, Georgia, Philip Anthony Mitchell.
Yeah.
I'd say either one of them because I listen to them a lot. They mean a lot to me.
He just had the big conference, right?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yeah, Access. Yeah. Or David Goggins. I know he's kind of connected to Leo right there, but he's also been one in the past, pulled me out of a lot of dark places and just listening to him and his motivation, so
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's good stuff. I mean, I think there's some like generational people, and you all hit on some of those. Like, these are people that will last through time, right? And then I think when you spend those quiet moments and you think about like who are those people, you start asking yourself why. Like, why are these the people that I turn to? Like, one for me, my entire life has always been Abraham Lincoln. Dealing with some of the most difficult things at the time our nation has ever faced, or really the world has faced. And there's a book called Lincoln's T-mails. It's kind of a little play on like emails because they had telegraph back then. And, to be in tough spots, whether it's LeBron James, Kobe, dealing with a championship game, Goggins running, ultra marathons, just ran Moab, and the perseverance in overcoming is really what a lot of that comes down to, right? Like, how do they rise above those things that really are meant to keep us down? And I think that's the message that, for me, when I look across the landscape of great leaders, a lot of times it's not who the media tells us who it is, but it's the individuals that their story comes to light. And you're like, oh, like this person persevered, they overcame, they became obsessed with whatever they were moving towards. Like, you'll see for your billionaire comment, like a lot of these people say like work-life balance doesn't exist. I literally was reading an article about that yesterday. And it's because it's not that they believe like you shouldn't have fun, but their fun is that. And they're obsessed with achieving whatever greatness that they are. And I think of the Williams sisters and King Richard, if you have seen the movie King Richard, like their obsession that very few people have of being the greatest at tennis led them to where they were. And it was something that they weren't willing to say like, oh, I'm going to have a boyfriend or go do life and have all the fun. They gave that up, that sacrifice to go achieve that. And I think for us, it's that question too, right? Like, what do we want to achieve? Because for some of us, those are the goals, right? I want to achieve these things, but there's a sacrifice that comes with it. And it can be either good or bad, but you have to be willing to give up something for that. But yeah, all really cool. Those are really cool examples of people. Wish there was like an opportunity where you could almost like line people up and just be like, man, I just want to ask you one question. And we'll just go down the row from there. But to me, those generational people, they're people that will be etched in history forever. And there's many, many, many before them, and there'll be many more after them. The other thing too, I mentioned to that is, I mentioned Steve Jobs. He's a complicated individual, but so is every single person we just mentioned, right? Like we hear parts of the story, and there's greatness in those stories. There's also mess behind it, and really challenging things that you have to wrestle with once you get to know the story, and you know the individual at a different level. And I can't think of a leader that was ever perfect except for Jesus himself. And so outside of that, you have to come back to this idea of empathy and grace and understanding. And I'm a mess. So, I hope to do some great things, but I can't put someone on a pedestal and not also think that they ain't got mess behind them. Right. So it's every day we look forward, we keep marching, we keep trying, we keep making mistakes, and we keep persevering and doing those things. So, all right, last question. Do y'all have any questions you want to ask the group or me?
I would think JT
putting
had
everyone
one.
on the spot.
Yeah.
Like that last question, famous, dead or alive, who would you interview?
Yeah. I think honestly it would be Abraham Lincoln. I've always been fascinated by what he went through, and to understand where his mind was at during a very complicated, challenging, polarizing, time period that not to anywhere delve into politics, but we all realize and face right now what feels like a division, right? But I've felt that way for many years, and that's why I say it's never changed. Since high school, I've always said I would love to meet him. I've always been fascinated by him, because I've always felt like our culture has taught us you have to sit in one camp or one tribe, right? Whatever that tribe is, but you can't cross borders, I guess, right? If you will. And again, good or bad, he has mess behind him too. But just to understand, like, man, like, how did you come to this spot? Like, what even brought you here? That's always intrigued me more than any billionaire, Elon Musk or all these people like the Rockefellers and whatever. To me, they're businessmen, still good leaders, but businessmen and what they did. But I've always been interested by the person that chose public service as a true act of public service versus this is my career. And I feel like, at least this is my personal take, is that it wasn't a career for him, that he chose to do this out of an honor to the country, right? And so to me, those people have always fascinated me, and particularly Abraham Lincoln and the time period that he had to deal with. And to be able to take some of that back home today and be able to maybe carry forward some of that message of like unity and compromise and working across from each other, and, treating people with dignity and respect, and bridging those gaps, right? That we're all feeling this tension right now, that whether it's made up, whether it's true, whether you sit one side of the aisle or you don't, it's a big heart of mine, because the reality is, it's affecting us all. It just is. Like, and I think we sometimes get scared to talk about the reality of today. But I don't know about y'all, but I go home and I think about this stuff sometimes, and I worry about it. I worry about my children and what they're going to have to live through, and what society they're going to grow up in, and how are my neighbors going to treat me? Like, what do our communities look like in the future? What does our country look like in the future? And what does the world honestly look like in the future? And I've always been more of a global mindset, but that comes from my scriptures and my faith of how I've always treated people. And so, yeah, it was a long way of answering that, but I'm really passionate about it because I think we don't talk about it enough. And so anyone who's lived through that, I think fascinates me. I think they're very intriguing. But I'd probably line up a lot of historical people, because good and bad. History to me is the way to understand, what we got wrong, what we made mistakes on, and how we potentially cannot make that mistake again. Seems like humans are pretty stubborn sometimes. I'm stubborn, really stubborn. We're emotional for sure. But how do we raise good leaders? How do we take y'all, man, prime examples of ambitious leaders in this community, and send you out into the world and let you flourish, and not be your stumbling blocks, not be your roadblocks, but uplift you. And then as we're mentoring you, let other generations come up and see those examples, right? You may never be the Kobe Bryant statue. You may never be the Elon Musk getting, all kinds of Time magazine articles written about them, or about you, but you could be someone's. And that's, to me, actually the most important thing, is that someone's looking at you and saying, I want to be like them. I want to follow them. And it's not because you're perfect, but it's because you're setting the good example. It's because you're real. It's because you're authentic. It's because you're doing great things. And that is building great people. That is this podcast. So yeah. Anyone have any closing thoughts you'd like to share with the audience?
I just want to say first, thank you for the opportunity. It was definitely a great conversation had, and it's always a great time being with my fellow peers. They're great people. We're definitely friends outside of this, so it's always great to see them. And just being in this opportunity has helped me grow a lot professionally, mentally, and I'm hoping to continue to build upon this and potentially work with you all in the future.
Yeah, that's good. Well, to our listeners out there, we'll have 3 great candidates for jobs. If they haven't lined something up yet, but if they have, you should really shoot them an email and maybe offer them something better. They're going to do great things. I've never been more excited to have a group of people at 𝗵𝗂 doing the things you're doing. I've always wanted to see an internship program, and I know that's not necessarily what this is, but to be able to find the people like y'all and give you opportunities and invest into you and build into you, and then watch you flourish is so exciting. It really does motivate me when I get up and I do things, seeing that on my team, seeing that across the company. Tanya's done an amazing job over here and helping build this. And so I just want to say thank y'all. Thank you so much, not only for participating, but for your willingness, I think, to have this mindset of, this pursuit of leadership, right? This idea that you can continue to grow, that you don't have all the answers, that you are going to make some mistakes, and that's okay, but you're ambitious and you're going to persevere. I truly believe that. And so until next time, we look forward to seeing more and more of your successes. I hope in a few years, maybe I'll still be doing this. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll be going on your podcast. But I can't wait to maybe one day sit back down with you or just have coffee with you at some point and hear about all the cool things you're doing. If we can ever help, let us know. But this is Building Great People. We'll see you next time. That's it for today's episode of Building Great People. Every leader has the power to shape the future by investing in and developing the people they lead. Keep leading with purpose, growing with heart, and empowering those around you. Strive to be the leader who elevates others, and together we'll continue building a better world. See you next time.